how about right now? You've said you want the investigation to continue. You saw Chuck Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, majority of the congressional delegation don't think he can be an effective governor right now. Can he serve effectively?
Well, that's a judgment for them to make about their state where they can be effective.
We have been unable to determine what Biden is saying. We had one editor in the newsroom who thought she had figured it out. It's not clear to me that she did figure it out. We're going to roll that video, and then I'm going to ask you guys what you think about it. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Let's roll the video.
But how about right now? You've said you want the investigation to continue. You saw Chuck Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, majority of the congressional delegation don't think he can be an effective governor right now. Can he serve effectively?
Well, that's a judgment for them to make about their state where they can be effective. Here's my position.
I don't know. If you think you know what he said, please post it in the comments. We're very curious about it. We do have an editor who thought she had figured it out. Run it, Logan, run it one more time.
But how about right now? You've said you want the investigation to continue. You saw Chuck Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, majority of the congressional delegation don't think he can be an effective governor right now. Can he serve effectively?
Well, that's a judgment for them to make about their state where they can be effective. Here's my position.
Something about the state they can be effective, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah. And I can't figure out what happened to his jaw. The jaw jerks off to one side. Like, I mean, my first thought was, good gracious, did he have a stroke? I don't think he did.
Right. I mean, but the man must be wearing dentures. He must be wearing dentures from some of the slips we have seen.
Yeah, that's a lot. What a lot of people have said. A whole lot of people have said. But I can't figure out exactly what he said. What's interesting is it doesn't look like ABC could figure out what he said either, because on their website where they transcribed the interview, this is what they posted. Or maybe not. I thought we had a graphic for that. Apparently we don't. What happened is they actually edited out the entire flub. So they go through,
in the transcript.
In the transcript. So they asked, Stephanopoulos asked the question. You get part of Biden's response, then you have a dash, which is where whatever the gibberish was. And then they pick up on the other side of the gibberish. What you should do, they have just given up. What you should do is actually put in an ellipsis, dot, dot, dot. That indicates that there's missing text.
Yes.
That's not what a dash indicates.
No.
A dash indicates the beginning of a new clause. Or can indicate that. So ABC, whether it was just they couldn't understand it and gave up, like you suggested, or they didn't want to admit it had happened in print, they essentially scrubbed it out of the interview. So right before we went on the air, I got a Google News alert that Russia had withdrawn their ambassador based on what Biden said earlier about having looked into Putin's eyes and what was it? Said that he has no soul. Did he say he told Putin he has no soul? He told Putin he has no soul. Now, I think we were talking about this in the newsroom earlier. I think this is a riff on George Bush's statement, 15 or 20 years ago, when he said, I looked into his eyes and saw his soul. Right. So I think what Biden is doing is actually riffing off of that. But anyway, Russia has withdrawn its ambassador in the wake of that. And I can't help but think that's what Putin's facing down. Yeah. And I know we've said it here before. I've said it to you guys before. We got the Cuban Missile Crisis because JFK met with Khrushchev. He was high on painkillers at the time. He had horrible back trouble. He was incoherent. Khrushchev looked at him and thought he was a complete pansy.
Weak, yeah.
Very weak, and said, okay, well, let's try to bluff him and see what happens. That's where the Cuban Missile Crisis came from. And now I picture Putin. This guy's a stone cold, presumably KGB killer.
Yes.
He's almost certainly had other people killed while perhaps not even as a KGB agent, but otherwise, facing down dentures Biden. This can't be good for United States grand strategy. It can't be good for U.S. national security. It can't be good for the West versus the East. Any thoughts?
I mean, first of all, the man is full of it. Outside of the flubs and the gaffes, Joe Biden is beyond full of it. It's back to that first segment. I mean, we saw throughout the campaign trail that we heard, this is a man who's going to go on the world stage. He's going to represent America well. He's going to build great partnerships, and he's going to stand down our enemies. And so he can talk all the game he wants. But when this is what you're seeing in a pre-recorded, event with the media, you have
sitting down. It's low pressure.
You have absolutely no faith in what he's going to do on the world stage.
Staffer he's interviewing with.
And you almost have to, save for when it might be dangerous for national security, like what you're talking about, Josh, you almost have to think that it's better for Joe Biden that he's doing these things, because if editorial was correct and the statement was something to the kind of to the tune of, well, it's up to them, up to the New York delegation to decide if Cuomo is effective. That is a deeply politically cynical decision and statement, right? Is to say, well, throw everything that I've said about sexual harassment to the wind.
That's good.
If Cuomo is still effective, we keep him in office and we don't eat our own. Because he's trying to, again, hold together the wings of the party. So you have to wonder if it's almost better that he's just a bumbling fool that's absolutely full of it.